I am going to make presentation on use of technology in large crowd gathering. Especially, we have a lot of events in a year in which we have crowd management issues, especially these kind of crowds. On 1st January every year, there is a event Koregaon Bhima in my jurisdiction where around 7 to 8 lakh people gather at location which is very close or adjacent to the national highway. It has a history of communal riots 2 years back in 2018. So there are different narratives, different social media issues which are actually ripe up in these kind of events, and it creates a lot of law and order issues also. There is always a possibility of stampede, congestion. There is a big industrial area around this Pune city, which gets affected for 2 to 3 days because of this traffic congestion. So there are a lot of demand from industrial sector also that their industrial production got affected because of these kind of large events. There is also issue about the daily commuters who travel on these national highways, around 5 to 6 lakhs daily commuters, which actually use these national highways and which get affected because of these kind of large events. There is lack of clarity about the do's and don'ts for the followers. These followers came across India from almost every part of Maharashtra. They came to these kind of events. So they don't have a clarity of instructions, what to do, what not to do, where to park their vehicles, from where they can approach, where will be the bus stand, where will be the toilet facilities. So these kind of issues are very common in these kind of large crowd gatherings. With increasing urbanization and increasing industrialization in that area, the empty spaces which are available few years back are now also not available because of fast pace of development. So crowd is increasing and space is decreasing. So that is also creating a lot of issues for the police department. So apart from the traditional methods of confidence building, like peace committee meetings, meeting with the stakeholders, meeting with the organizers, we this time tried to employ maximum use of technology so that we can solve these problems. So this year we started very well equipped on-site control room with CCTV coverage of around 250 cameras in this entire area. This is the first event in which we did real-time monitoring from CCTVs and drone feeds at our state police control room at Mumbai also. So there was two basically command and control rooms which were having entire event is monitored at the CCTV, but our police headquarters also and at our on-site district control room also. To avoid the gathering and for facilitation of the people, this entire event is live streamed on the Doordarshan and social media platforms like Facebook. What we have done is every parking place, every approach area where designated parking place were given, where DFMT plazas were erected with all facilities like drinking water, toilet facilities, as still COVID-19 was there, and we have to erect facilities for the health checkup, antigen testing, free mask distribution, and entire these kind of facilities are provided, and it is very clearly marked on the areas, and it is very easily available for the every follower. So this time we use exclusive buses for the followers for parking places who are coming for actual darshan at the location of the Koregaon Bhima Stambh. So use of these buses gave very good feedback for us and help us to avoid any kind of clashes and control the movement of flow from across the various roads or approach roads coming towards this area. So basically, this time we made walkthrough video in which we explained the followers do's and don'ts, traffic diversion and parking places, and shared this almost 10 to 15 days prior on social media platforms. So these videos become very popular, and we received very positive feedback about it.
जानेवारी रोजी कोरेट प्रकाश झालाय. भाविकांसाठी करण्यात आलेल्या तयारीची माहिती.
So I am going to show only some part of video because the entire video is around about 5 minutes.
नाशिकवरून येणाऱ्या भाविकांनी नारायणगाव, चाकण, शिक्रापूर या मार्गाने यावे. मराठवाड्यातून येणाऱ्या भाविकांनी औरंगाबाद, अहमदनगर आणि शिक्रापूर मार्गे यावे. तसेच पुणे.
So these are the traffic diversions and alternate routes for the followers who are coming for these events. Those who are not coming for the event and they try to avoid the crowd on these routes, they were also provided with alternate routes. Then we also used 3D animation technology and showed what kind of facilities will be there at the site and what the follower has to do when he comes or when he reach at these locations.
खाण्यापिण्याचे स्टॉल्स सुद्धा या भागात असतील. कोरोनाचा धोका अजूनही कमी झालेला नाही. ओमिक्रॉनचा वेगाने होणारा प्रसार लक्षात घेता आपण आपली आणि इतरांची काळजी घेणे जरुरीचे आहे. मास्क घालणे, सुरक्षित अंतर ठेवणे या गोष्टी पाळणे अत्यंत गरजेचे आहे. प्रशासनामार्फत सर्वांसाठी मास्कचीही सोय करण्यात आलेली आहे. कोविड लसीचे 2 डोस घेतलेल्या व्यक्तींनीच अभिवादनासाठी बाहेर पडावे. गंभीर आजार असणारे व्यक्ती, वयोवृद्ध, बालके यांनी गर्दीत येण्यापासून टाळावे. पार्किंग मध्ये आपण आपले खासगी वाहन पार्क करून DFMD प्लाझा मधून पिकअप पॉइंट वर यायचे आहे. येथे पोलीस मदत केंद्र उभारण्यात येणार आहे. इथून पुढे जाण्यासाठी जिल्हा प्रशासनाने आपल्यासाठी बसेसची सोय केली. प्रत्येक बस मध्ये आपल्या सुविधेसाठी एक पोलीस अंमलदार तैनात असेल. आपल्यास काहीही मदत लागल्यास आपण त्यांना.
So actually this type of visualization, prior visualization and dissemination of information among the followers has helped us to gain their confidence. It ensured there is a smooth movement of followers and devotees without any clashes or any stampede. A lot of commuters who actually travel along the national highways, they were free of any traffic jams, congestions and accidents. There was no any communal tension, and it increased the confidence of people about the administration. We also gained the goodwill of the followers, which is also reflected in lot of participation of women and children in this event. So what is the innovation used is, this is the first time we did use of 3D animation for the followers, and because of these kind of walkthrough videos and positive feedback received, we started using these kind of videos for other large gatherings also. Like we have a lot of events like Shiv Jayanti, then we have Ganesh Utsav, then we have events called as Ashadi Wari, in which there is around 10 lakh Warkaris. They start walk on the foot, a pilgrimage from Ashadi during the month of Ashad, from the Dehu and Alandi to Pandharpur. So use of exclusive buses for the movement of followers from parking places to actual the Sambhaji Maharaj Ji Samadhi and Jai Sthamb. We use lot of drone cameras, CCTVs, PA system, enough centralized control room, and monitored from the state control room. The benefits were the loud and clear message of positivity and proactiveness administration is given, as well as lakhs of commuters found it very easy to plan their journey and choose the alternative routes. Industrial units also can plan their transport manufacturing schedules and shift their convenience as per the minimum loss in their revenue. As earlier said, we received very positive feedback and decided to replicate it in other events also, and got very good feedback from the commuters, especially from our old pilgrimage tradition of Wari, in which around 7 to 8 lakhs of devotees start walking on their foot from Dehu, Alandi Dehu to Pandharpur for 21 days. In future also, we want to use this kind of 3D animation as well as virtual reality technology in large crowd gathering, as well as it is also useful for our training purpose, as well as for the briefing of the policemen. In these kind of large crowd events, lot of policemen are actually taken for the bandobast from different units, which were actually not aware of the local geography, local terrain, local factors, and what exactly they have to do at the point of their bandobast. So briefing of the policemen is very important, and these kind of technologies are very useful for briefing them. This is also useful in disaster management, especially in prevention and mitigation part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abhinav. Excellent presentation. Now, just two small things which are hitting my mind. A, any specific arrangement you are doing for senior citizens to see that they are not neglected and they also are able to perform their puja. Secondly, how do you check communal tension with this technology?
As there was a, I will answer second question first. There was a lot of social tension, social issues, because this event has a different narratives, different groups. Like Dalit groups project is at differently. There is Hindu groups projected adds differently, and there is a 2018 riots which started from this point and it spread across the Maharashtra. So there is a lot of social media issues also, where different political social groups start posting various messages. So we also focus on that. Apart from our social media monitoring, these kind of proactive administration effects gives very positive message, and it actually creates the ambience of positivity and trust, so that we actually see this year actually, because of these kind of well preparedness of our administration and efforts, we could there was no need for any banning mobile internet. Otherwise, for last 2 years, there was always on 1st January we have to ban mobile internet for at least for 24 hours. But because of proactive efforts by the entire administration machinery of a district, this year we could avoid it. Second thing, regarding senior citizens, there are a lot of senior citizens who are actually coming there. So at these parking places, we have arranged separate room for them, where toilet facilities are also kept. There were also buses which are senior citizen friendly buses are also kept there with helping attendants this year. Though these facilities were need to be increased this year, actually we use it for the first time, and next year we are planning to increase its volume.
Very good. Excellent. I'm very happy to note it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abhinav. Excellent work. I have no question, please.
Peers and on the members, and it was a wonderful first half of the session. And so in this particular session, I will quickly take you through three particular projects. And these three projects are very close to our heart. On behalf of Gwalior Smart City, we worked as a team to deliver these projects. And you can say that these are the three sets of projects which have created a significant impact in Gwalior. So I will first start with the facade lighting presentation on Baijatal. Now, even though I'm mentioning that it's a facade lighting, but in reality, it's a complete transformation job for Baijatal. Next, please. First of all, Tal means, for those who are not so familiar with Hindi, Tal translates into, it's like a water body or lake. And Baijatal, it derives its name from Baiju Bawa, Gwalior's musical legend, who had his origin in Gwalior. So this is an oval-shaped Tal, which was built by Maharaja Jiaji Rao Scindia to actually cool off its surroundings. Basically, there is a very huge building called Moti Mahal, the building where I am sitting and presenting from right now. So this Tal was constructed to have a micro environment, pleasant environment, long back. In terms of locality, it's very strategically located at the heart of the recreational, belt of Gwalior, because on your left you have a traditional Italian garden, you have Gwalior Zoo, and on its south, it has this Jaibilas Palace. So you can say that its location is superb in terms of being at the heart of the recreational hub. Next. Now, why this project is so important and why did I mention that it's a complete transformation and not a facade lighting? Because this is a perfect example where multi-pronged approach has been adopted and which demonstrates that if government departments, they work hand in hand and that can deliver superb results. For example, the water that you see in Vegetal, over the years, it got dried up, because the natural drainage paths, it got destroyed, and which is a story in every city now, like the floods that we are seeing in Bengaluru, the floods we have seen in Chennai. We destroy our natural drainage channels. We build too much in the surroundings. And Gwalior was no exception. So the Tal got dried up. But what we decided is that a nearby sewage treatment plant, let us utilize the treated wastewater in this Tal. So the water is not a fresh water, no treated water is used, but treated wastewater to the capacity of 40,000 cubic meter, which translates into almost like 40 million liter per day. So that is used in this Tal. So that's the environmental sustainability angle that we bring in this project. Second, the final touch of this Tal, because it was in a dilapidated condition, you can see in the images, the tiles are broken, the seating areas are broken, the chhatris, the wonderful chhatris, they were not in a good shape. They needed makeover. So one part is the facade improvement or restoration job, which was done by Gwalior Smart City. And the final touch to transform this area in the night, that was done by Gwalior Smart City through facade lighting. And finally, the tourism department also came forward. What they did is the surrounding areas of the Tal, which actually integrates the Tal with adjoining recreational areas, say Italian Garden, the zoo, Jaibilas Palace, and etc. That job was done wonderfully by tourism department. They did a wonderful urban design work. For example, plazas, pedestrian plazas, footpaths, dedicated zone for speed bending, etc. So in a way, the intervention could look small. That is just a renovation or facade lighting of a water body. But if we look at the outcome or result, these three efforts by three different departments, which are well coordinated with each other, that has delivered such a wonderful product that this location has become a major public recreational area. And people throng this place, every weekend, every day. And you can see the stage that has been constructed. It's a floating stage. And this is in tradition of India's musical legacy, Even in Fatehpur Sikri and other places, you would see that music is observed the best when you perform it on water. Like in Fatehpur Sikri, we see Tansen performing in water floated stage. So that was the intention here also. Every weekend, on behalf of Gwalior Municipal Corporation, Gwalior Smart City, and Gwalior Tourism Department, we organize musical events here, and that location has become very vibrant by a coordinated approach of these three departments. Next, please. So this is what,
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So this is what the Tal has been transformed into, These are the wonderful chhatris which have been renovated, amazingly lit. And the best part is all these lights are centrally controlled from the place where I am sitting. So this is the integrated command and control center. You can change the color, you can change the timing, you can change the intensity of it. So that's the beauty of it. And on every, days of national importance, say 15th August, 26th January. So we change these colors to a tricolor mode. So that cheers of the citizens whosoever is visiting this place. Next. So in terms of challenges and innovations that we have integrated, challenges, I would not say that the technical challenges were insurmountable, because we as technocrats believe that no problem is insurmountable. But I would say that the coordinated approach among these three different departments at one go. So that was quite a bit of a challenge, but we are really happy that we could overcome that. And in terms of technical challenge, what was important is that we maintain the treated water quality, because often our sewage treatment plants they become dysfunctional. So if that happens, then the water where we also operate our boats, so that will become a health hazard. So we remain extra cautious that our sewage treatment, which is operated by the Gwalior Municipal Corporation, it runs perfectly. Another innovation that we have brought in is the financial sustainability, because we have allowed this boating operation, which is operated by the tourism department, and it is done by private sector, private operators. So the revenue that we received is actually more than sufficient for operation and maintenance at this budget time. And I've already talked about the environmental sustainability aspect, and the surrounding areas have been designed so wonderfully, and the footfalls increase so much that it has given a huge local economic development, because the street vendors, they line up, and on every at any given point of time on weekends, there are at least 100 such car driven street vendors. Next. So these are the images, the environment, the ambience. You can see in the bottom left image, the boats operating. So that is the major source of revenue for this Vajatal. You can see the floating fountain where musical events happen every weekend. And these are the steps where people can enjoy the tal. Next. Some other images. Okay. So what are the project outcomes and replicability? This is the last slide. I'll be very quick on this. More than 40,000 cubic meter of treated wastewater. So you can imagine, had we not been used or reused this wastewater, that would have perhaps ended without being treated. So that's the environmental aspect of it. Revenue generation, more than 10 lakh of revenue per annum from the boating operations. Fostering musical talents. Gwalior is, I mentioned briefly, is very famous for its musical heritage. Name it Tansen or Baiju Bauda. So people are fond of classical music. People have a tendency to consume that. So these musical events on every weekend is a super hit in Gwalior. Employment generation, more than 300 numbers of direct employment only because of increased footfalls, which has been possible because of a better urban atmosphere that has been created by this project. Replicability, of course, I talked about the Bengaluru flood. There is a need that we plan our cities in such a way that the concept should be sponge city, or cities we can hold more and more water rather than draining those water away. So there are numerous water bodies which are unattended and which do not get enough attention. If we can keep rejuvenating them, and if they can be used as holding ponds, then the flood risks in our urban areas can be reduced significantly. And this is the approach I'm happy that many Indian cities are taking now. Of course, we have done a lot of damage to our urban atmosphere, urban environment by blocking the natural flow. But I'm happy that at least thinking has started on that line. Next. So that is all about Bajatal. I will now quickly take you through the facade lighting project. At once. On this particular project, facade lighting, I must say that I'm a bit excited. The reason being, if you ask anyone in Gwalior that name a project that Gwalior Smart City has done, not in terms of amount, but in terms of the citizen awareness, in terms of impact, in terms of perception, then probably this project will top that ladder, the facade lighting. It's because the enormous amount of pride that the citizen of Gwalior can relate to this particular project, I cannot describe in words. So I'll be very quick. In 5 to 7 minutes, I'll show you that what exactly we have done about this project, what are the challenges that we have faced, what are the precautions or extra cautions that we have taken, and how can we scale it up, or what are we doing to scale it up in other cities or in Gwalior? Next. So I will not repeat this particular slide. I explained in the first half that conservation of heritage remains a very key focus area for Gwalior Smart City. So we have done conservation on many historic buildings. So the reason I'm saying this in this facade lighting project is that facade lighting is an extension of that heritage. It is a way to further glorify those projects and create a very vibrant atmosphere. And that's how it contributes towards building brand Gwalior. Next. So what exactly has been our key approach? What are the pivotal aspects of our approach and methodology? Now, I must say that financial sustainability has been our pivotal aspect, pivotal consideration. Why is it so? Because facade lighting is a very fancy concept. Somebody can argue that anybody can do it, but what about those municipal corporations who cannot even afford their electricity bill? Because till date, we have done facade lighting on 18 historic buildings, and we are paying something around 3.5 lakh of rupees per month for electricity bills. So the approach that we have adopted is that the institutional buildings, say banks or say colleges, Maharani Lakshmibai colleges, they should bear their own electricity bill. So from the very outset, we have engaged ourselves in discussions with these authorities, and I'm happy to say that electricity bills for institutional buildings are not being paid by the state exchequer. They are being borne by those respective departments. The second consideration that has been is environmental sustainability. Of course, because we have been cautious that we only use energy efficient LED lights, and the system should be state of the art so that they are connected to integrated command and control center. You can control the brightness level, the timing, the intensity of it, etc. And thirdly, of course, one consideration has been that these all are heritage monuments. So we should not install something that becomes an eyesore. So the installations that we have done, the pole-mounted lights, etc., they are of the same color of the building facade, and they are installed at such a distance that it does not become a view cutter, and which does not become an eyesore for this heritage buildings. Next. So this is the project all about. As I said, we have installed facade lighting on 18 buildings, out of which the Maharajpara area, the big circle that you see on the left side of the screen, it has 9 historic buildings, and remaining 9 buildings or structures, they are scattered all over the city, including Gwalior Fort. Next. So again, I will not repeat this particular slide, but I would like to summarize that this facade lighting is not a standalone initiative that Gwalior Smart City has taken. Rather, this is part of a very carefully crafted overall master scheme of things that Maharajpara must be revitalized. So we have all the heritage buildings which have been spruced up, which have been renovated, and then we have applied this facade lighting to transform the Maharajpara. And I'm really happy to say that hitherto, if you ask a citizen from Gwalior that tell me 3 names in Gwalior or 3 places in Gwalior which are must visit, he will say number 1 Gwalior Fort, number 2 Jaivilas Palace, and number 3 today people say that visit Maharajpara in the evening. That's the transformation this project has brought about. Next. This is what I have been talking about, and this is a video graph. So I mentioned that in Maharajpara, we have installed on 9 particular buildings. Now, if you look at the image on the left, you could see hardly 4 such buildings. So 5 other buildings are on this side of the drone from where the photography has been done. Now, I'm sure all of you would agree that this picture is nothing less than heaven brought down on earth. I can say from my personal experience, each and every time I pay a visit in Maharajpara in the evening, I feel like visiting more and more. And the hangover of this facade lighting, it does not seem to pass at any moment of time. And that feeling is, I mean, all of my colleagues are sitting here. I'm sure they would resonate the same feeling, the pride that we have while visiting Maharajpara. And as I said, we have grand plans that we are pedestrianizing the entire Maharajpara so that people can visit there in the evening and they can remain, free from the traffic woes, and they can enjoy the traditional shopping which are in and around Maharajpara. Next. So challenges, as I mentioned, the biggest challenge was this to ensure financial sustainability. So I mentioned for institutional buildings, the respective custodian, they are bearing the electricity bills and operation and maintenance cost. But for government buildings, because still a large number of buildings come under Gwalior Corporation. So for that, the way we are going about is, for example, Jal Bihar, the building that is in electrical shade. Here, what we are trying to do, we are trying to cross-subsidize by means of other revenue-generating activities. For example, in the water body, we are planning to have a laser show, which will be implemented on a PPP basis and which will be a revenue-generating activity for the corporation. So that revenue will be used to cross-subsidize the electricity bill of this Jal Bihar. Technical reason, of course, it's not insurmountable. Once again, I say, but we had to be extra cautious that these lighting structures do not dominate over the heritage structures. And the Gwalior Fort installation was extremely challenging. The reason is, I'm sure all of you would agree, Gwalior Fort has been one of the most invincible forts in India. And similar thing has been our experience in case of installing these lights also. So we faced a lot of technical difficulties. The angles were not proper. And the image that you see in the bottom, this is probably the 6th or 7th iteration after which we got a perfect shot. Next. So innovation, we have already talked about low cost LED lights, which are eco-friendly and which need minimum maintenance, easy control. All these lighting fixtures are integrated with the ICCC. We call it Integrated Command and Control Center. Next. So this is the last slide, project outcome and scalability. I started my presentation by saying that this project has instilled immense amount of pride in citizen of Gwalior. So that has contributed in creating a brand Gwalior, and that has transformed the entire urban space. I elaborated in detail about Maharajpara, but apart from Maharajpara also there are other structures which have been rejuvenated by means of this facade lighting. And the last sentence about scalability, what we are thinking, there are some best examples across East Asian countries. For example, Singapore. What Singapore does, it incentivizes for installing facade lights by means of providing additional floor area ratio. So we are thinking in the same line. In Gwalior, there are numerous other buildings, in fact, private buildings also, where the concept can be applied and which can be revitalized. But in return, authority can incentivize by allowing them some more floor area ratio. So in that way, it will be a win-win kind of a scenario that the government won't be required to shell out anything from its kitty. And at the same time, you will get a better public realm, a very vibrant public realm. That's so I'm through with this presentation, but just for your consumption, couple of images and the way it looks like in the night. The right side temple is a very famous one, which is Ladheri temple, and which is situated, I think, 300 meters at an elevation. So this acts as a landmark and it is simply superb. It looks amazing in the night. Remaining, you can see Gwalior Fort, couple of other buildings. The Bajat Hall I just talked about. Next. This is Jal Bihar, which is a corporation building, and this is Maharaja Jiaji Rao's statue. And the bottom picture is from Maharani Lakshmibai College. Next. So that's it, all about the facade lighting. I will quickly take you through the third presentation now, which is the last one, and then the floor will be open for question and answer and interaction. So the last one is, chopper-T. So this is yet another example where a very small intervention by government authority can have a very meaningful impact. Next. So I'll start with this statute in India, the Street Vendors Act, now, which was enacted in 2014. And this is for the first time when we recognized the rights of street vendors. And we recognized that street vendors are also required to be integrated spatially. That is, in the master plan of a city, you need to earmark dedicated areas for street vending. Now, before enactment of this act, even street vending was illegal. We were aware of many such operations by government authorities like Operation Sunshine. So, but I'm really, I'm compelled to say that even after enactment, even after 8 years of enactment, Indian cities hardly provide a dignified space, which we can call a hygienic environment for street foods. Now, all Indian cities are famous for street foods, particularly Gwalior. I mean, you call any delicacy, I'm sure all of you are drooling right now, looking at the images, so am I. But if you look at the facilities that we provide to them, it's minuscule. I mean, it do not match the quality that they offer, the value that they are. So at this juncture, on behalf of Gwalior Smart City, what we decided is we picked up one particular joint, one very popular joint, which is called Phoolbagh. And then we provided about 51 number of shops to informal workers or informal street vendors. And we transformed that area. We provided very hygienic, atmosphere. We provided relaxing atmosphere, ample of landscaping, and a place where they can come and spend the entire evening. Next. So this is again located very close to the, recreational zone, north to Baijatal and north to Italian Garden. And the right side images are before intervention. You can see it's very unorganized in nature, no hygienic atmosphere, and it's not a place where somebody would like to spend an evening with his or her family. So how did we transform this area? Next. So there are four, pillars of design that we adopted. First of all, we provided some area where people can come and people can keep their children for playing. While they enjoy the food, they can keep their eyes on their children playing. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is this is built on a desire, on a principle of universal accessibility. So not only for kids, for aged people or people who are differently abled. So this is a barrier-free environment that we have created. Second, in terms of safety, of course, all smart city projects, it comes with CCTV monitoring and surveillance. Then livability. Of course, the kiosks that we designed for individual shop owners, those were custom-made kiosks, which reflect the need of individual shop owners, particularly the Indian style of cuisine. Next. So this is the design all about. Apart from this particular plot, which is a very small chunk of land, I think it's less than 1,000 square meter of area. But this was done in a very integrated manner and proper parking was provided. The shops were absolutely scientifically designed, looking at Indian style of cuisine, as I said. Then another important aspect is that this particular site is adjacent to your river, Swanrekha River. So as per NGT directives, we were not allowed to construct anything permanent. So that was a design challenge which we overcome with temporary kind of a construction or semi-permanent kind of a construction. Next. So these are the challenges, as I said, these are before implementation. Next. Now I would like to spend some time on this particular slide. This is what the space has been transformed into. These are actual images after construction. So you can say that these are landscape areas, and beside you will have your children play area also. Sitting, we strategized in a way that people have direct touch with the respective shops, as well as there are dedicated sitting, which is at a bigger scale in the behind. So which are the tensile roof areas? Next. So in terms of project outcome, if I quantify these outcomes, then it's something like, of course, improved hygiene and all, and improved sanitation, because often the street vendors do not even have access to clean water. So that's a great health hazard. And this project has also been appreciated under our, Eat Smart program, where we have actually, as part of the monitoring program, what we do on behalf of corporation is we check the hygienic quality of the street foods that are being served in Chowpatty. Then increased footfalls. So the income of the shopkeepers have been increased from 3,000 to 5,000 per day. Direct employment increase, of course. And it's also a revenue generating activity for corporation, because the moment you organize shopkeepers and give them a proper space, you can ask for rent. So 3 lakhs per month is the income for the corporation. And finally, the popular culture in Gwalior. And one thing I just want to mention is what is written on 60 days. This is something that we take pride. We delivered the entire project in 60 days of time. And on the same concept, Indore later developed 56 or Chappan Street. So these cultures have become hugely popular because we Indians relate very closely to street foods. We like street foods. So looking at the popularity, I'm happy to share that Gwalior Smart City is already developing 2 more Chowpatties in Gwalior. And there is huge demand to organize such street vendors in other parts of the city as well. So I end my presentation over here. I have no further point. I'll be happy to take questions or suggestions.
Thank you very much. At the outset, let me congratulate GSCDCL for doing excellent work to make Gwalior look like a real smart city. I have been to Gwalior some time back, but I did not find anything like that, where I can say it's a smart city. But I'm sure now I must get, if I get a chance, I must visit and see what work you have done on the ground. So I'm very sure you would have done an excellent work, as we are able to see from the pictures. Now I have only 1 or 2 small observations, not really questions. You see, the very important thing to keep a city, smart is that its people are smart. That means people, they maintain cleanliness. Where there is a gathering, how do we create awareness about that? No, I'm sure it must be though you have not touched it clearly, must be a part of your overall strategy. That how do we make people aware and ensure that they follow discipline? For example, in Gwalior, I found traffic, one side they are going, the other side they are coming also from the same way. So nobody is observing the traffic rules. Everyone is at his own. So I think side-wise developing these sites and other things is an excellent thing. But really, if it is a smart city, it has to be the people's participation, and people have to make it, people have to ensure it that it becomes a smart city. My last is that do you get any ranking also among smart cities?
Yes, I'll come
What is
to
the
one by
ranking?
one, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these are my 2 small observations.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure. No, thank you so much, sir. And I could not agree more with you with respect to the public awareness part. It's a very valid observation, sir. And I'm happy to share, sir, because on behalf of this Swachh Bharat mission, which is spearheaded by, Gwalior Municipal Corporation here, a lot of IEC activities, information, education, and communication activities, those are underway. And in fact, if you come to Gwalior right now, that's visible on the ground also. The ranks are in terms of Swachhata, in terms of awareness building, that is continually on the rise. But that said, I must accept this fact, sir, that a city turns smart only when people are smart and they become responsible towards their built environment, their heritage. So on that front, in Gwalior, looking at the particular context, the geography in which we are sitting in, we have some catching up to do with other cities. There is no denying on that front, sir. But at the same time, I would also like to say that the intensity of public awareness campaigns, that is definitely more than other cities because we have a lot of catching up to do. We realize that. Secondly, sir, in terms of smart city ranking, definitely we have a system, but that is not a project specific ranking. It's given on a city specific.
Correct.
Yeah. Depending on the number of projects that you have been able to complete in Gwalior, the amount that you have spent, those are two main criteria. So currently in Gwalior, we are sitting something around, we were selected in third round, sir, not in the first round. So
Okay.
were much ahead of us when we started, but we are somewhere around 52. So that's the current ranking of Gwalior.
Yes, I wanted to know. That's it.
Yes.
No comments because your efforts are more important than the results.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay,
So
thank you very much once again.
Thank you, and I, urge all of you, please do a visit to Gwalior. We'll be more than
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely, sir. A revisit is due because you have made radical transformation for this urban infrastructure. Excellent work you have done. I just want to know that you have mentioned that some revenue is earned by a private operator. So, is it the investment has also been put by the private operator, or what is the arrangement? Means it is DBFOT model or concession or some revenue sharing? What is the PPP arrangement you have made?
Well, in Bajatal, it's operated by a private operator, private concessionaire. It's not a DBFOT, sir. It's a pure operation and maintenance contract because the capex
contract,
the O&M contract, and there is a revenue sharing mechanism which is put in place. So that revenue sharing, the revenue that is shared by the private party is required to upkeep some part of it, sir. As I said that there are 3 agencies involved: Gwalior Smart City, Gwalior Municipal Corporation, and Tourism Department. So we have divided the responsibilities amicably amongst us. So that's how it is being managed, sir.
Definitely. Excellent work.
Thank you.
All 3 have done exceedingly well. In fact, excellent work you have done. This is the effect of collective wisdom and collective efforts.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Very good, sir.
My commandant is away on some official duty, so I am presenting on behalf of him and SDRF. As you know, Uttarakhand is a Himalayan state, and 70% of the land is hilly, and 30% it's plain. And we have 4 holy places: Kedarnath, Badrinath, Gangotri, Yamunotri. So a lot of people all over from India and in fact from abroad, they travel to Uttarakhand, and they go in different direction in Kedarnath, Badrinath. So the Kedarnath 2013 Kedarnath Abda. So after that disaster, this SDRF was came into force, and since then it's doing wonderful work. And we have Mission Abhyuday, the Rise. Basically, we are doing a different kind of work. That is those people who are coming for pilgrimage And secondly, Uttarakhand is prone to the earthquake, and it's earthquake in earthquake 4 and earthquake 5 zone. This is our headquarter, battalion headquarter. This is coming up nearby Jolly Grant Airport, and this is been funded by World Bank and state government. So this headquarter, in this headquarter, we have day-to-day work. And in SDRF, we have different teams. Basically, these teams are specialized in different field of works. Like we have mountaineering teams. So we have trained our mountaineers from Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, Uttarkashi, and they do all kind of rescue works, whether it is high altitude or whether it is on other mountain areas. And secondly, we have deep diving team, which has been trained in Kolkata and 9 NDRF Pune. So in 2021 Kumbh, they have done extremely wonderful work. They have saved so many lives. And third one is dog team, which is for search and rescue team, basically. And other team is CBRN team. This is basical chemical and biological kind of industrial disaster. So we have this team with us, which is been got training from NDRF. Other one is our training team, which impart training to the school children and other remote areas, villages, other departments regarding disaster, earthquake, and next is awareness team. This team, the main task of this team is to visit remote areas and villages to aware people over there about to how to save them from disaster like earthquake. What are the what they have to do to save them? As you know, the disaster, it's basically natural disaster and human instigated disasters. So in natural disaster, we have what we have witnessed over here is avalanche, flood, earthquake, cloudburst. This 2-3 weeks ago in Dehradun itself, this is Maldevta area, where we have witnessed the cloudburst. And wildfire in summer seasons, we witness wildfire in Uttarakhand forest. Other these human instigators are these are different kinds of chemical spills, structural collapse in earthquake, transport disaster, many of accidents we are witnessing in Uttarakhand. So the concept of disaster is before disaster, during disaster, and after disaster. So we focus on before disaster. Basically, before disaster, we trained people to how to save them from different kind of disaster. Community awareness, like I have said, in school, colleges, and villages, in some of the melas, mock drills. As today only we had our mock drill in airport and on different places. We organize mock drills, safety plans to aware about the institutes and schools and large gathering for the safety plans. During the disaster, the main feature of the disaster, quick response. As soon as be possible, we have to reach out to the area where the disaster took place. And after the search and rescue, we have to search for the survivors where if we have to see the possibility of life. If there is some kind of life, we search, and we use our dogs in this search and rescue work. And first aid, we have our first aid team, and in fact, doctors with us. They provide all kind of first aid. Then after disaster relief and rehabilitations of the victims, and recovery and damage assessments of the area, and other is damage control. Before a disaster, we have trained around 15 to 20,000 Swayamsevak, Abda Mitra. We have named them Abda Mitra. Like in flood situation, for floods, we have trained 500 to 600 Abda Mitra, which provided their services in Kumbh Mela, and other one is Swayamsevak. Whenever somewhere in Uttarakhand some kind of disaster took place, so these Swayamsevaks, they offer their services, which we have trained them to pursue these kind of disaster work. Mahila Mangal Dal. The Mahila Mangal Dal is a very important aspects of this training. We send our teams to the villages where the ladies are there. We collect ladies to train them and tell them about the first aid and about how to save them from earthquake and other kind of disasters. Other in departments, we have given training to PRD, Home Guards, foresters, and PWD, and other schools as well, which we have not mentioned here, but we have imparted trainings to many schools, whether it's government or it's public schools. And fourthly, armed forces personals, paramilitary forces personals, we have trained them and we have imparted them in the field of disaster management.
Sorry, sir, for interruption. Can you please conclude your presentation in 2 to 3 minutes?
Okay. We have given training to the remote areas, like in Pithoragarh. These all are remote areas, Pithoragarh, Bageshwar, and Chamoli. And international boundary is running. And we have imparted trainings to these villages, which are far remote located. Next. And we have given training to the people, elderly people. Those who can't come, we have sent our team to their doorsteps to impart training in their houses, in their locality. Training by doing a fun way to invoke curiosity. Actually, in training, we have to generate the curiosity and to generate curiosity and to make it interesting. So fun is very important in this aspect. These are some pictures where we have given training in schools, in other housing complex and schools. These are the community trainings which we have imparted training in Kumbh Mela. Lots of sadhus and all pilgrims from all over India, they came. So we make them aware about the gathering and about the floods and about the earthquake areas. These are the competitive charts which we have given training from 2017. We have started from 2017. and in 2007 it was 6,420, and now in 2021 it's 5 lakh 6,347. Next. This is some of the pictures which we have did our operations. This is the recently one, what happened in Maldevta 2-3 weeks ago, the cloud burst, where our boys, our troops, they saved lots, thousands of lives over there. This is one of the grave area, and this is the one of the important area which we have. This is COVID-19. We have worked by distributing medicines, home kits. We have COVID care center, from where we called all COVID patients from this center to all over state. We distributed masks, sanitized the area, and distributed masks and sanitizers. And these are some of the work we have done after disaster, by distributing meal, organizing medical camp, giving medicine and rations to the needy ones. And the media coverage, what we have done is reflected in media as well. Thank you very much.
Sir, do you have any question?
Sir, this year, during darshan of Kedarnath, Badrinath in June, it was unmanageable crowd. In fact, lots of people have also died. So I think this was the first time that so many visitors, pilgrims were there. Do you have a next year planning to so that the crowd can be managed easily?
It's a very important question, and actually after COVID, it was the first time that lots of people rushed to the Uttarakhand, and although within few days we opened different kinds of controlling centers, like in Haridwar and different Chardham routes, to control the crowd. So definitely we have a roadmap and plans to control the crowd.
But even after registration, you have opened registration, but many of the visitors did not follow it, that they did not take it seriously, and went without registration, because after all, administration and other police force, they have their own limitation. They cannot, they don't have indefinite powers to control the such crowds. So there should be some strict act that no, you can't visit this month. Your slot is booked for the such a. They need to make it streamlined.
Definitely, you are right. That's why we have asked for online registration. So after online registration, date is been confirmed, and after getting that date, they have to come on that date only. So there are so many things we are doing, and this registration part that has played a crucial role. So we are looking forward to do it in better way.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good. No questions from my side. I think you are doing good work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
When I was SP in Port Gadwal district last year. So this operation is mainly on road safety actually, because as everybody knows that many of the stray cattle, people generally after milching or after the cow become old, then they generally leave the cattle on the roads, abandon the cattle generally, and so there is a lot of menace of stray cattle in almost all the cities in India. So in Podi also we face this problem of road safety, because a lot of accidents generally happen due to these stray cattle, and there was a traffic jam also. So we have been writing to the district administration and the municipal corporation, Nahar Palika, Nagar Nigam, but they weren't interested in taking more steps on this. So finally, we have started this operation. So we have conducted this operation for 3 months. Actually, there is a challenge of road safety in hills, because in hills the roads are very narrow and there is a lot of growing population, and even the transportation is also increased. The number of vehicles have also increased nowadays. So many cattle are left abandoned on roads in market areas and creates road jam and road accidents. So we have started this operation, and recently in Times of India also there is an article that the stray cattle or animals is the second biggest reason for the road accidents in India. So this is also a recent survey conducted by an agency, and it is published in the Times of India newspaper. So our objective is that objective of the operation is to save life of both the cows and humans on the roads, to prevent road accident, to fix responsibility on cattle owners, to protect the abandoned cattle from road accidents, and to prevent road jams and to give them shelters. This is the main objective of this operation. So we have started this operation with awareness initially, and for this we have implemented, there is a local state law, the Uttarakhand Protection of Cow Progeny Act 2015. So we have implemented this act in that area, especially in Nagar Palika. We can only implement in Nagar Palika and Nagar Nigam areas, which section 7, which prevents the prohibition of pre-wandering, and registration of cow progeny in urban areas is compulsory registration. Otherwise, we can impose a penalty of 2,000 rupees. The task is to clear traffic jams by cows, and to make people aware of road accidents, and to make them law-abiding citizens, and to identification of the defaulter owners and take legal action against them. And apart from that, we arranged silage and shelters for the abandoned cow progeny, and to motivate people and foundations to save and prevent road accidents. We provide medication to cow progeny disability, which causes road accidents, injured in the road accidents, and motivate community to help the police for this initiative. And we involved other stakeholders also, and the local public. The strategy is that initially we created awareness among the general public, because they're not aware about this act or their responsibility. So we have initially announced, create awareness by using the loudspeakers and posters and through social media and media. Then we have organized campaign in schools and colleges. So likewise, we have created awareness among the general public not to abandon the cows on the roads. Then we have also initiated the process of tagging of cows. Tagging of the cows in each and every, ensure that all the in Nagar Nigam and Nagar Palika areas, all the cows should be tagged. So we have for at least 15 days we are into these awareness programs. We have created awareness among the public in the towns and also in the village areas, in the outskirts of the towns. Then we have started the tagging. Process along with the help of animal husbandry. We have formed a team which includes police and animal husbandry people and also Nagar Palika people. Then we have started tagging of the cows, and that way they have we have registered the cows also, number of cows in a particular place. So we have got the list also, how many cows are there in a particular place. So the cows are also registered along with the tagging. So these are the posters for awareness programs we have. The outcome of the operation is that we have changed the mindset of the people, so that they made aware of the laws. with the licensing of our along with the licensing of the stakeholders, so we have achieved this. The number of registration we have done is 1,100, and tagging of cows we have done more than 1,000 cows, and we have fined around more than 200 people for as matlab, who have defaulters, and number of cows to shelter homes. So around 178 cows we have sent to the shelter homes, and we have encouraged people to adopt cows also. So at least 8 people adopted the cow also. And we have done the stray bulls, we have done castration along with the veterinary department. So 66 bulls were castrated. So the public reaction and benefit is this: people are made aware of the legal aspect of rules, and roads were made clear of traffic jams. Pedestrians felt safe especially on in tourist areas, especially, and help to prevent road accidents. And better licensing was established with stakeholders like local administration and veterinary department. And so in hills there is a leopard menace also, so prevented attack by leopards on abandoned cows due to this initiative. And castration of bulls done by preventing the cattle population, growth of cattle population. And so humanity was installed among the public so that they should not leave their cows abandoned. And people were also motivated, and the system was established there. And this happened due to the good cooperation between the stakeholders. And after this initiative, we have conducted this drive for 3 months. And after this initiative, the Uttarakhand Cow Protection Commission, they have also recommended, they have also wrote a letter to all the districts to implement this practice. Because they found it it's a very good practice initiated by the police. So they have recommended, they have written a letter to all the SSPs to continue this program in their districts also. And these are some of the media publications. Thank you.
Madam, excellent work. In fact, there is also a need for developing this dairy business, so that nowadays there is increased thrust on organic farming. So
Yeah.
organic manure definitely can be a good product from this cattles. So it can be developed as a business. I think there is a need for developing this sector. I know some entrepreneurs who are in fact earning more than lakhs of rupees by selling this organic manure. So you can think of
Yes, sir.
this model
What
also.
the NGOs are doing here, they are collecting dung from each and every household, and they are preparing some household articles also.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, it is a very good project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, you're on mute actually.
You can ask. I have no questions, please.